ground like this can be intimidating to people that aren't used to hunting real big country or timber. But you don't want to be afraid of it, because a lot of times this is where a place like this can have like the biggest deer you've ever hunted.
Okay, so it is 2024. That's going to take a minute to say. New year. Yeah, it is January. Finally got some cold weather. But this has been an anticipated trip that it's taken a while to get this farm under contract, but we are at a farm that I'm really excited about. This is over 300 acres in Vinton County. There's some unique aspects of this farm because there's lots of public that borders it, but the access to that public is on the other side of the public. I think it will present some unique opportunities for us to potentially parcel this out in a little smaller piece. I just want to kind of get bent on it and look at like what is the initial landscape, what does the initial farm feel like, and then what do we do with that to make it better. Let's load up and start checking it out.
We're not going to beat around the bush. We're not trying to, like, this woods was cut really hard back in 2005 or whenever they cut it. Tyler's thinking the guy told him 2005. By looking at some of the saplings and some of the young trees growing here, like here, all these are a bunch of little poplars, yellow poplar. It was cut pretty hard. This is not going to have any significant timber value to it. Logging projects aren't always bad. So I'm not saying this to say that like, oh, this is a hideous property. That's not what we're saying. What I'm trying to explain to you and be honest about is like, this isn't like a project you're going to buy for a timber investment, or that like the timber's going to help pay the property.
Right.
This has just got a lot of good cover to it. It's at that stage of its life where the deer now are actually able to get through it. If we get some food up into a spot like this, or say a new buyer decides he wants to, this could be a money spot. Like, you know.
I was just going to say too, if you look at, if you ever go to one of the property lines and look at the contrast between Zaleski,
yeah,
huge big open trees, woods, and then this, it's like a definite.
Oh, it's
like, so this is where they are now. I would think that if there's no mast over there now, this is your only browse in a good way.
You know, and I look at it like this, because Zaleski is so big and it's full of a lot of white oak, red oak, black oak, chestnut oak. They're going to have a lot of mass to eat, but they're also going to have a lot of browse and cover. They're going to get a lot more sun in a spot like this where they can, so you're giving them.
And no pressure.
Yeah, like what they're going to have is transition zones from thickness to open woods to, you know, and like if they're getting pressure from the other sides of Zaleski, it's just going to keep pushing those deer farther back into this property. Ground like this can be intimidating to people that aren't used to hunting real big country or timber, but you don't want to be afraid of it, because a lot of times this is where a place like this can have like the biggest deer you've ever hunted. So this ridge kind of runs northwest to southeast.
Yep, and then it drops down and there's another ridge out there.
You got a scrape there. So here we got a split in this logging road on this ridge going back. This is the next ridge back. Pretty good sized scrape right here. With, you know, they've been actually scraping it here just recently, right on this corner.
Ben, just random, but here's a deer track. Could you tell us if this is big or not?
It's only going, like that hoof is just to your knuckle right there.
Yeah. Not that big?
Not really. I mean, it's got some weight to it, but it's probably a 2-year-old or 3-year-old deer, you know, nothing.
Okay.
The thing in this big timber country is you've got to give them, so like basically they could just aimlessly wander from, you know,
wherever to wherever.
Yeah, like, I mean,
you got to give them something to go
We look at it and go, okay, we're sitting here looking at all this and going, be like, man, well, that's a nice ridge over there, nice ridge over there, nice ridge. Okay, well, how does that deer decide to get from that ridge to this one to that one? How is he working it to where he's, you know, especially like in the cruising phase when they're looking for does the most, you know, are they going all the way up and, you know, working these back and forth? Typically them bucks will come right off. You know, they go places that you think, man, they're never going to walk up that, but they'll go right up it. So it's just kind of a thing, like they want to get from point A to point B as fast as they can. But like if that buck over there knows that there's a food plot on this ridge, you know, like you've got a green food source out here, and you could make a pretty good size one here if you really wanted to.
Yep. Like a
He's
long
going to
one.
come here to be checking for does. These does are going to bed off the edges, and they're going to come up in here. This is like perfect middle of the day type killing spot. Or if you wanted to feed deer here, it definitely has that bucky field where you could definitely make something happen here. You know, obviously with the timber being cut off in 2005, a lot of these young trees have grown back. These are old logging roads here, but there's a lot of browse here. You know, I mean, a lot of woody vegetation for the deer to be able to eat for sure. Here's a great little spot. This is, so that ridge was where we were just talking about the rubs and a bedding area.
You're right.
Another ridge over here. Now, at some point they had, I guess the original owner said that years ago they tried to have a clover plot here.
You can still kind of see it.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's still
parts.
some in it. These deer are using it.
Hammering
You know, there any kind of open spot like this in big timber country is a deer magnet. Absolute 100% deer magnet. So, I mean, this is good. You can look behind you there. You can see this old blind.
I don't even know what that thing is, dude.
It's like an old camper.
I mean, it's some kind of a shell.
Looks like an old camper.
I
they
will
had
tell
on
you
a-
this, you will not be standing up in that. So,
But anyways,
when I was here in October, this whole lower edge was lit with scrapes, just lit up all the way down. You know, because I would think you've got a point that way and a point that way, and I would just think they're just kind of using this to go from one to the other.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Probably midday.
Yeah.
And obviously, I don't know what size would you think this is. This is 2 acres almost. I mean, it's a pretty decent sized food source you could put in.
there ain't a whole lot more you can do than what he's already got done. Like this would be a great destination food source. I'd use every bit of this for food. Maybe a little bit of weed covered grass still for bedding, you know, but the main part of it, try to get them deer right in front of you. You got a shot. I mean, you could put a redneck right here and shoot all the way across the plot, the compound.
What could it do? I've wondered since I walked it, like, what could you do?
I'd put some cameras on, give it a few days. You might get a freaking giant here, and that could be your cellar.
I mean, I have the money to close. It's just, you know, once
Yeah,
you close,
I
it's
know.
like, all right, well, now what? You got to do something now, man. You know, you're talking gravel, culverts, and not even including this cleanup. The cleanup, I think, is 30 grand. I could be wrong, but I think with the trailers, campers, haul off, I could be wrong. What if I'm wrong? Let's say it's 20. There's no way it's less than that to clean all this crap off of here. Cars, trucks, there's all kinds of stuff up here. It's got to all come off of here. That's 20 grand. So we got to do all that. But to me, you got to do all that before you even say, here's a product. So it's either you close on it and then you just immediately say, here's what we've got, you know, and you start marking the heck out of it. Or you close on it and you just come in here and start turning it into something, and then you market the heck out of it.
Give me a day to think about it.
Yeah. Done. Yeah, I mean, because to me, like, dude, if something shows up, like, I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm going to put a plan together and go for
Sorry,
it.
I killed the buck there, but I didn't buy it.
None of the rest in the farm now. No, but how cool of a story would it be to be like, okay, not only, like, we literally, you know, we're going to make it even better, but we've already found a deer on here that's just natively living
We've
here.
literally killed a 180 and we're backing out.
Yeah.